Hey, everybody!
Hey!
Welcome to TRIDENTCast number.
Yep.
I have no idea what number this is. We've been so busy doing everything else under the sun that, it's a number. Aki, how you feeling over there?
This was a good investment.
That was okay.
Theme song!
And we're back. And first off, I want to start off with a quick apology because, yes, I am aware that you boys here are a little behind on the whole TRIDENTcast thing. We did miss one in January, technically. And, I mean, it was basically because we were so busy just finishing up the album. So we're sorry about that. We're going to get it back on a regular schedule. And we're going to be starting up a brand new series for Patreon backers only called Fang's Metal Beer Club. And that's either going to be monthly or every 2 weeks, where we're going to sit down in a nice comfy chair and put on our robes with studded leather all over them and sit and have a nice chill beer. So I'm working on that right now, along with literally everything else in the entire world, because fuck me, the album is almost done. As of tonight, we've got 6 days until it goes off to Doug for mixing, and I couldn't be more done with it at this point. I think more or less, if you put all the hours together, I think I've been working on it approximately 4 hours a night every night since November 1st. So I'm done. It sounds, actually I don't even know how it sounds at this point because I can't tell anymore.
I think it sounds pretty badass.
I think it's sounding good, but I don't know. I can't tell.
Well,
I listened through all the tracks today in a row, and I'm pretty happy. Pretty happy about it.
I think too, unlike far in the past, you have a lot of people listening to it, like our Patreon backers and whatnot. So I feel like it's not as much of a all of a sudden you're really doing this release and no one's ever heard of it. Like, I feel like we've been playing a lot of the songs live. Mm-hmm. We've had a number of fans listen to these songs. So I feel like I feel pretty confident it's a strong product.
I think so too.
Time will tell.
It's the I feel confident it's a strong product. Did you pull that from the Caveman's Fire interview accidentally?
No, is that from that?
Yeah. So back in the day, we played with this band.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Maybe it's because of you forcing me to watch it so many times.
So we played with this band called Caveman's Fire.
It's for a good cause.
It's fun. And if I can find the video, I'll put it up here. But they did an interview on this almost famous video music, and maybe we've talked about this before. We might have talked about this before. But they had, their lead singer who was all bombastic. He's like, "Oh yeah, man, hey, everything's great." And then they had their new lead guitarist Sergio, and he was wearing a collar, and he's like, "Yeah, I think in Caveman's Fire, I think it's a good experience. I think we've got a good product to put out."
We are here with the almost famous video review magazine with Spinner.
How you doing?
Sergio from Caveman's Fire.
Caveman's Fire?
You did a benefit show.
Yeah, it was a pretty good benefit. A lot of people showed up. It was for a good cause.
That's awesome.
Because I believe that we've got a good product to put out there, and we've got some good music, and we want everyone to hear it.
So
Yes.
They're no longer, but
Vice President of Product Development's choice.
yeah. Aki, can you tell us about where your legs and feet are currently at the moment, please?
They're for all intensive purposes, they're separated from my body now at this point. This thing just clamps on, and
Yeah, it's Ty's signature tournament.
Yeah, the foot vice.
Yeah.
So what we
The
did?
boot.
Das Boot.
The boot.
So we did our like all fucking heavy metal bands out there. We did our fucking taxes, and we did our taxes, and I did my taxes alongside of the band's taxes, and I got something a little back, and so I decided to just treat yourself, just kind of splurge a little bit, and something that I've always wanted. I remember when I was like 16 or 17. I was walking around the mall, and there was the Sharper Image was still like a store before it went out of business. And I remember there was this like full, body massage chair. But the thing that I was most interested in was they had like a calf and foot massage. So, and it's right out in the front of the store. So I take off my shoes and I'm sitting down and I think my friends are out doing something else or whatever. And I hit go on that thing. And I was like sitting there like, oh, like I was like loudly just exclaiming.
Matching the pitch of that over there.
Because I have like really tight calves just kind of naturally. And I've always said to myself, man, if I just had like, if I ever got to the point where I just had just a some money to blow, I'm gonna just be stupid, just be really dumb, and get one of these massage things. And you know what? It was totally worth it. It was totally worth it. I do that thing every night, and now my calves are like pillowy soft, like mountains of mashed potatoes.
I will say,
and Aki will never be able to get up from that spot.
Right.
Of the massage chairs, like parts, that is the best part of the massage chair.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean,
the best part of the massage chair right there.
The rest of the massage chair, I think, unless you get one of those where you're like laying down inside of it, I feel like you really kind of have to. If you got one of those ones that has a back, you really have to kind of like push yourself into it, and that can just be, I feel like I want to just relax. And
you're exerting yourself to get a massage.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Is this plugged into a wall, or is it a bunch of D batteries?
No, it is plugged into the wall.
Like sometimes you look at a device and you're like, how's it powered? And you like open it up.
D batteries.
Right, and you're like, I can fit my
18 batteries were like
yeah.
You know what is powered by a shit ton of D batteries is our megaphone. That's got like 8 D batteries inside of it.
God.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems so straight when you're just like, I can stick my fucking fist in there.
Oh, yeah.
Freaking fist, sorry.
Oh, my gosh. Aki, don't swear on the heavy metal podcast, please. Yeah. So, one thing that did happen that we're very, very excited about is that you might have noticed a brand new bottle out in front of Boss Mead. That is, of course, the Mad with Power, the Lords of the Trident Mead. And if you look very closely on it, you'll see our big dumb faces on the label. Man, this thing came out so well, and the mead is so good. And I've been talking to Colleen, who makes the mead, and she's having trouble like keeping this in stock because it's going so fast, which is great, which is awesome for us. I mean, so props to Boss Meadery. And props to Colleen for making such an amazing, amazing mead. So I thought, I got a little chilled bottle here. I thought we'd open it up and have a little taste test. Aki is currently not drinking because he's on an ayahuascan diet where all he does is ayahuasca for about a week. So anytime he thinks about alcohol, he pukes violently. So we're just gonna have one in his stead.
Ayahuasca.
Yeah, he's tripping balls right now.
I've never heard that term. I don't know what that is.
It's like some.
I don't know either.
I'm going to put up a little documentary here about the rainforest ayahuascan tribes while we drink. So, Matt to Mad with Power.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I actually haven't seen you in about 2 weeks, so nice to see you, man.
Yeah, no, it's good seeing it too. It's like just been like some random emails here or there where like, yep, this sounds good, or yeah.
Aki's had a hell of a roller coaster ride in the last week. Like, your apartment flooded. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. It's such a weird thing, too. Cause I should have got more info from the maintenance guys, but so Ty and I asked them, and basically, apparently the kitchen sink handle just came off in the apartment above me, and like a geyser of water was shooting out.
So for those of you who know, Aki lives on the 3rd floor of this apartment complex. Yeah. And there's one apartment above him. Yeah. And
so I was at an appointment for something that Ty was picking me up for, and I was just in the bathroom and I heard like water dripping down, and I have a breakfast bar kind of where the kitchen meets the living room. There's 2 lights that come down kind of on sticks, and all of a sudden I notice water is like it's just dripping out of one. Not too fast. I'm like,
Yeah, water doesn't usually drip out of light fixtures.
And then, like, before long, water really fast starts coming down the other. And I quickly put pots underneath them, but the one that's coming down fast, I mean, I'm having to change a pot like every 2.5, 3 minutes, like pretty quickly.
Well, and the funny thing is, like, I was in his parking lot waiting because I was picking him up for this thing. And he calls me up. He's like, "You're not gonna believe this." Like, what? Water spouting out of my of my light fixtures. I'm like, "Oh my god!"
It's funny, but it's not really. Well, it's not funny at all.
It was 5 minutes before we were like scheduled that we had to leave and go to this thing.
And then, so it's early in the morning, and my apartment building is not staffed yet. So I call emergency line, and hopefully Luckily, they were on it really quickly, but I think probably the apartment above me had already called by that point. And one thing I really appreciate is Ty. He was frustrated. He's like, well, why the hell didn't they turn off the shutoff valve? And this is where we should ask for more details. I'm hoping to still ask a maintenance person, but they said that the handle didn't work. And I talked to someone at work, actually. I hired someone, actually, really good worker, and he just out of high school, and he actually worked as grandparents, like apartment company, as like maintenance. And he said it can happen. He said actually with Madison's really how much mineral buildup there is with the water, and actually the professional ice machine, like industrial ice chipper at my workplace, I kid you not, it like breaks like every 2 months, and they have to send
because of the hard water.
Exactly, because of hard water. Like, it's that bad. And I know like my shower head is all like, I have to use Limeway on it like a couple times a year. So
I'm surprised that a place that big doesn't have like a big giant water softener.
I don't know, but I wonder if either the handle broke off too, or I wonder if it didn't move, or if like it just spun around. You know,
my friends just bought a house, and they had to replace one of their valves into their sink because it was corroded, and you could turn it, but like it wouldn't close all the way. And there's like,
I wonder if that's the issue. He said though, like, oh sorry.
Thank you for calling the emergency hotline. If you know the nature of your emergency, please press 1. If there is water currently dripping from your light fixtures, please stay on the line.
And it's just like, I didn't know it's true, but this guy I was talking to said that he said, oh yeah, I've seen handles fly off all the time. I'm like, what? And he's like, that was very interesting. He said it says
fly
a lot
off the
about
handle, literally.
He said it says a lot about human nature. He said almost always. He said like 95% of the time. He says someone is angry in a bad mood and they're just like, and they just hit the handle really hard.
And it just flies off.
And it just flies off.
Man, I've never done. I mean, thankfully, I've never done that.
I guess the Bright Side's apartment company put me up in an apartment on the east side, but I really like walking to work, and I like where I am, and so I've been living near the Capitol for the past. I can't believe it's been a week now for the past week. And
what's your experience with like living in a place like right near the Capitol, right in downtown? Is it posh? Is it too frilly? Is it too froofy? Is it?
I guess like.
What do you think?
I know it sounds weird, but I guess like I like the character of that side of town. Like, there's tons of cool restaurants and bars. I really like Willie Street and Atwood neighborhood. While I was there, like, I hit up a lot of restaurants I've been meaning to, in addition to going to Halong Bay, which is always one of my favorites. I went to Harmony Bar, which is nice. I went to Stallsy's and had my... I mentioned a pork rind thing. I had my first Reuben ever there.
Your first Reuben?
It always sounded disgusting to me, but I was like, you know what? I'm over here. I'm going to try Reuben.
See, now I need to go somewhere and actually have a good Reuben.
I don't think I would order it again, but actually, Stallsy's is a good place, and like, it wasn't bad. I also had something called German potato salad, and it was pretty decent. But no, I didn't mind it. I'm not normally a corned beef person, but it was a delicious sandwich. I just don't think it's my thing with the sauerkraut and whatnot.
Well, you have to like sauerkraut. They also tend to be pretty heavy. So if you want really like a full, heavy, filling sandwich, it's good.
I think it's more of a ham and cheese or like turkey and Swiss kind of guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. I had that. I hit a Batch Bakehouse, and that was awesome.
Batch Bakehouse is amazing.
I generally judge a restaurant off their Reuben.
Really?
Yeah. It's because like everybody makes one, but only few restaurants actually make a decent one. Like if they actually make their corned beef in house, like if it's thick cut or like what it is, what their sauerkraut tastes like, if they make their Thousand Island in house, like.
Interesting. I was impressed. It tasted really solid, and
When you're hungry for one, though, there's no way to scratch that itch without a big fucking Reuben.
It's a very unique sandwich, definitely. And then I wanted to go there, but I didn't get a chance to, and that was that barbecue joint. I still need to go there.
That bar.
On
That bar
on Willie
I
Street.
know, that's what it's literally called.
I haven't even been there yet either, and I live on that side of town.
But yeah, so I've been there, and it's not bad. I think too, like, it makes me sometimes feel a little old, just because I feel like, I'm in my early 30s now, and it's like there's so many students in that area.
Yeah.
I think too, like, I can definitely see what people are talking about with gentrification and people being priced out, because Ty and I asked the apartment manager at the Stonehouse property that I've been living at for last week, and we asked how much the 1-bedroom place was, which is roughly the size of mine. Like, maybe
yours might be a little bigger.
I feel like mine might be a little bit bigger. Exactly. I feel like the layout in some ways is a little better at this place I've been at. Like, kitchen wise, it's a little more open, but they told me $1,450 a month, which is more than Ty pays in mortgage monthly
for this entire house.
The Atwood area is outrageous.
They're charging, like twice what I pay, and they said the big reason is my place I'm at is rent controlled, whereas this place isn't. But it's insane, like those prices. Like, again,
it's a lot to just toss down.
It's aimed at people I think who work at like Epic, who make
that's
upwards of 6 figures.
That
exactly
entire
what
neighborhood,
it's for.
though. I mean, it's like the east side of Madison is. You got really nice restaurants over there. Places like Pig and Her Coat.
Yeah.
There's Fuego's is now over there. Like all these upper end places are going in there. So that entire neighborhood is becoming like, I don't know, like not the hits. I guess it's considered the hipster part of town, but it's like if you want to go like relax in Madison and live somewhere, like that's kind of where you go now. I feel like.
Sure.
So.
Yeah.
It's definitely the hip side of town.
Oh yeah.
Because West Side is all soccer moms and
and metal bands, soccer moms and metal bands. It's,
nothing but
I will say I'm sometimes I'm a little bit of a late learner, late bloomer with things, and I'm happy with how my reaction time with the water this time. So oddly enough, I've had water come down from my roof in an apartment one time before, which I feel like most people can't say, but once at my old apartment, in the middle of the night, above my kitchen, like the ceiling, water just literally from the ceiling, it opened up and it just came crashing down. And in that case, the person above me, their washing machine, outside their dishwasher, like broke, and like water just came crashing down. In that case, I called my mom and was like, what do I do? And that was several years ago, and since then I've grown, and I knew to call the emergency number, although my old apartment company was like 2 guys, so there wasn't really an emergency line. But so I guess on the bright side, I come back to a new apartment where hopefully they've
right after this you get to go see what the state of the apartment
what the apartment looks like. But it was interesting because when I went back to my apartment, actually after you dropped me off there, the whole kitchen sink, the whole placement was removed, which I don't know why they needed to do that. So I don't know if maybe they saw an issue and they're just putting a whole new.
Well, if there was water going everywhere, they probably had to pull everything out.
Yeah.
No, because otherwise, when water seeps in, it'll cause mold eventually.
Oh, that's a very good point.
Or it'll warp the floorboards, and then so it's worth just kind of taking it back to scratch and starting over to make sure that there's no long-term damage.
Yeah.
The last thing I'll say that I'm lucky about, no, definitely, Brian, that makes sense. 'Cause I remember even telling them that water had been seeping under the sink too at that point because so much water was everywhere. I was really lucky. There was a third light fixture that water was coming down really fast, and it was the type where like the light is in a upside down like half sphere, and it was filled with water, and it was right above not only like my nice like Red Wing boots, but also my guitar. And
saved
like
all the water,
some furniture, and thankfully didn't like come crashing down. Like I think that would have been a nightmare.
Oh yeah.
So I'm hoping not too much got damaged, just some papers and whatnot. And hopefully they properly aired out my rug, like they said. But I'm still waiting to hear if they'll give me credit. I hope they give me even just half a month's rent credit or something.
They probably should. Yeah.
Could you imagine if all that happened like 10 minutes later, though?
Oh,
is that crazy to think? Like,
terrible.
would they have properly checked my apartment, or what I mean? Like, how long would they have waited? So, it is amazing that you say that. Like, I think of the timing about like luck. Like, I'm lucky it happened.
Yeah.
Like a few minutes before you arrived.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy to think about that. Yeah. Anyway.
Speaking of luck, we are and segues. we are lucky to have such amazing fans. Going completely off topic.
Did they make a graphic novel of us?
They did. No. So we got from Alex in one of our super fans in the Chicagoland area. She sent us a DVD and of course the Heavy Metal Fun Time activity book, including one of my favorite ones, which I was going to see if I can find. It's Ronnie James Dio's Holy Diver Metal Libs. So I think in some future. Brian, Holy Diver. Give me an adjective.
Sparkling.
And Aki, give me a verb.
A verb? Running.
Holy Diver, you've been down too long in the sparkling sea. Oh, what's running of me? and
on and on.
And on and on. A lot more fun times to be had. So thank you so much. And speaking of Alex and her her friends and family, we got word that they purchased 2 sponsorship packages for Mad with Power. So they are directly sponsoring 2 bands. They have gold VIP tickets, and we can't thank you enough for the help. I mean, it's amazing just the support that we're getting for this. So we're really, 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 really grateful and really, really excited about Mad with Power. We've got a couple more announcements potentially coming soon about Mad with Power that I think everybody will be pretty jazzed about.
Since then, we've done Nasun Dorma Hit, and it's been a smash.
We didn't talk about that.
That's not what that's happening.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Thank you to everyone who has made that the success that it's been.
Yeah, we got 17,000 views in 6 days on Nasun Dorma, which is crazy.
Unheard of for us.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So as a one-off side kind of whatever thing, it turned out I think very well.
Yeah, I think so too.
and the response has been fantastic. So thank you again, everybody.
Mm-hmm. We also, since it was around Valentine's Day, this year instead of Valentine's Day cards, we released a sexy music video that people on the Patreon had already seen, but we released our sensual acoustic cover music video for Alone in Cole Hall, and that
even that hit over 2,000 views.
Yeah, that was really well.
Thank you for that as well.
I purchased these in advance last time, and they've been sitting around for a while. But Brett, Pugs and Kisses.
Oh yes,
for you, Brian. I woof you. Aki, here's some cuddly cuties.
Oh, I think Brent wants this one now.
Would you like the doggies? That face, that said it all right there.
Apparently Dollar Store Chocolate does not agree with Aki.
I'm not giving it away.
Yeah, it's a good looking owl. Look at him.
Yeah. I thought you'd like the owl, Aki.
I'll have
owl
some of
type
that.
Of a guy. Oh.
Aren't you curious as to what the red and the yellow taste like?
Yeah. You think it could be cinnamon, or it could just be more chocolate. You don't know. So I only have.
You just ruined his whole day. Look at you.
I only have 3. I only have 3 presents to give out because you might notice that we're missing someone. Unfortunately, Brent has been fired from the band permanently. No, I'm kidding. He is currently in Hawaii, of all places, and we actually have been able to set up a satellite link with Brent. And I'm sorry. Yep, I'm getting that right now. Yes, Brent. Yep. Can you hear it, Brent? Yep. Pontifex Mortis, please. Yep. Go ahead.
Thank you, Fang. Pontifex Mortis here, tuning in from a volcano field in Hawaii. Now, there's a lot of stories I've heard about various lava goddesses creating these sorts of fields, but little known fact, Lords of the Trident actually played here in 1959, and you can see the wake of the destruction. There's just, fucking everything is melted, and there's still a fire burning behind me right here. That's been burning for decades. Lots of villages burned, homes and lives destroyed. Great show. Back to you, Fang.
I see. Thank you so much, Brent. Have a safe and relaxing vacation. Make sure to start a volcano erupting for the rest of us here, and fly out before that lava hits. So, okay, thank you. So anyway, he will be back next week.
Look at that amazing wrapping job.
Oh my gosh, I'm just curious as to what the inside of that chocolate is going to look like, just because it's been. Oh wow, yep.
Ooh.
Make sure to
chocolate.
Make sure to wipe off the tears of the Chinese children that wiped it, that wrapped that before you. Oh, it doesn't look that bad, honestly. It does. Yeah, it's a little.
I love you.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Here he goes. Dollar store chocolate. There's the review.
Tastes like
Does
chocolate.
it taste like chocolate?
Palm oil.
You boys like candy? You like chocolates?
Yep.
Actually, I'm gonna see if it goes with the beer.
Yeah, this is kind of a chocolate beer.
Yeah, it's actually kind of good.
Okay. So yeah, holy crap, we've been doing a lot. Irish Blessing, yeah. We've done Nessun Dorma, we did Alone in Coal Hall, we released another acoustic track for our patrons. Hey, if you're not on the Patreon, get that meth out of your mouth right now and and jump on there for just $1 a month. For only $1, you can save these children. They're starving. They only have dollar store chocolate to eat. But for $1 a month, you can give them another dollar store chocolate once a month and get all sorts of stuff in return. Won't you help these children? Please. Yeah, anybody who pledges anything gets all of our MP3s, so they get our acoustic covers that come out every month, and early access to all sorts of stuff. So get on there, patreon.com/Lords of the Trident. We hit a milestone on Patreon just this weekend, actually. We hit our next stretch goal, which was $625 a month. And that stretch goal was at $625 a month. We're going to start doing official bootlegs of live recordings of our shows. So I'm currently working on putting a box together that's going to have our interfaces, all the cables, a computer, the whole shebang. And we're going to be multi-track live recording off of the board, mixing it professionally, and sending it your way. So, should be fun.
This last weekend, we were at a fantastic party hosted by our own Larry the Steadfast.
Oh, yeah.
When the wonderful news came that we had reached these milestone kind of goals in terms of Patreon and Mad with Power.
Yeah, so, it was quite the day because keeping with our tradition of mentioning Larry once per podcast, yes. I think we should have like a theme song, dun, 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 dun. He's Larry, he's a great guy, Larry. Can we just give him a beer?
Can we just change some of the lyrics to the Joust about Larry?
That would do the Larry. Larry.
There it is. You got it.
So in the morning, someone had purchased the bakers had purchased a gold VIP Mad with Power ticket, and so I posted that morning. I'm like, there's only 2 gold VIP tickets left. If you were thinking about buying gold VIP, you should probably do it now. 5 minutes later, Ben Dittman, our friend, he's like, no, there isn't. I'm like, what? And yeah, he purchased the next 2. So gold was sold out. And then Brian picked me up. We drove to Racine to go to Larry's Ren Fair, which is
Drunk Larry Con 2017.
Drunk Larry Con 2017. 2018, I guess.
Yeah.
It's super fun, actually. It's so for the people who haven't been or don't know, Larry turns his house into sort of a little virtual Ren Fair. He's got a bunch of screens and he plays the
DVDs of the Tortuga Brothers and
the live acts that you
Dirk
see in
and Guido and the acrobats and then in the flesh he gets Dan the Bard along with fiddle player and drummer.
Yep, and 2/5 of Lords of the Trident.
Yeah, and 2/5 of.
Yep. And so then we have there's some live entertainment down in the basement. And they make mushrooms and Scotch eggs and
turkey legs.
Oh my God, the turkey legs this year!
Guys,
you missed out.
Good job.
Because last year the turkey legs were large. This year they were a turkey leg could feed 2 grown men. Oh, wow. The turkey legs were like pterodactyl legs. They were frickin' enormous. I had to. I'm a guy that I like my meat, And I specifically looked at what those. I'm like, I tried to find like a small one because, and I ate a small one and I was stuffed.
Damn.
Yeah.
I think they did a decent job. Typically, turkey legs are very tough, very stringy, very chewy, and all things considered, I think they did a good job this year making them a little more easy to eat.
Yeah.
Like a little, like just in the preparation process, the meat was a little softer and a little not quite such a fight.
Yeah, you get all the tendons in there and it gets weird and pokey.
Yeah.
You know,
But so yeah, it was a great time. We played some tunes, hung out with the G2B guys, caught up with them. I threw some axes out in the yard in the snow.
Yep. Larry got drunk and set his Christmas tree on fire with gasoline again.
Yep.
And that was fun.
Yeah, there should be footage of that on Facebook somewhere.
I did a live video of that.
Yeah.
Posted it. And we actually, I didn't tell anybody this, but Larry just today in the mail, he sent me an SD card with our entire Larry Drunk Fest 2018 performance. So I will edit that and put it up on Patreon very soon. I'll probably play a little bit of our performance up here too while we're talking.
Well, I can say for certain, at least this year. Last year when we played, I was drunk. And I barely remember.
I was drunk.
So, we did a very kind of off the hand, or off the cuff rather, like acoustic version of the Joust.
Yeah.
Which Larry loved, but we might toss that in the ring as a Patreon
regular. Oh yeah.
Or as a Patreon cover or a Patreon acoustic tune.
That could be
because we still have some to choose. So.
We do.
I've still never played the Joust.
Well, one of these days.
Well, you're fired.
Well, thank you for your service. Yeah, it was. I had a lot of fun. I always have a lot of fun at Larry's Run Fair. This year had a little too much fun. Had a kind of rough morning. The next morning. Yeah, man. Yeah, it was, but still, it was super, super duper fun, and I loved it.
Once again,
thanks Larry, and
horns up for Larry the Steadfast,
and thanks to the guys Games and Beer crew, and everybody related to everyone. Thanks to the entire world who's related to somebody somewhere. We love all of you. Hurt by the cold.
That's a deep cut. I like it.
You're welcome.
Good reference there.
Hey, enough of this bullshit. Enough of this terrible talking about blah, blah, blah. I did this and that. And aren't we cool because we got people who like us? Let's just get to the good stuff here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. You know it. You love it. You ask for it by name. You fill out a survey and you said, give us more of Aki's Cat Picture of the Month.
See, now I can always tell when you're about to do it because you always go, enough of this.
Yep.
Enough of this dog shit.
That's right.
Enough of this.
I'm pulling it up on the phone and it is right up here. And Aki, this one's choice.
So for February, like I really thought I'd go with something that's like heavy on the whiskers. This cat has super prominent whiskers. I like the ones that also come out here on the tops, almost like alien-like.
Mm-hmm.
He has a nice, like, kind of pale pink nose. I really like the perspective, how the head is really big and the paws are super small, but the paws have this perfect, like, little white coloring, so it looks like he has, like, gloves at the end.
Do you have any background information on this cat?
I don't actually on this one. I just really like the image a lot. He really also has nice natural eyeliner. Like, this is someone who doesn't need a super long morning routine because he naturally has a deep eyeliner.
Yep.
Yes, and I feel like the cat has like a pretty friendly, inquisitive look there.
Yeah. A cat you'd like to be friends with.
Yeah. And I think something that a lot of people don't realize is how whiskers, they aren't just like hairs. Like if you're like me and you like booping animals and tugging on their whiskers and whatnot, like whiskers are actually they're actually very like thick on a lot of cats. Like they're actually like hard at the end almost. They're like little quills and whatnot.
You know why that is?
My guess would be something along the lines of how they sort of really important function for them to be able to sense things, like when they're walking through areas or whatnot, like the whiskers come in contact with things, and I would assume it has to do with how they provide a really strong like sensory function.
That is correct.
Well, in particular, cats love to scurry into tiny little spots.
Yeah.
And if their whiskers can't clear that, then they know that they won't fit in there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I could definitely see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
Well, thanks, Aki. Thanks for that wonderful cat picture.
Absolutely.
And thank you all for coming along on this wonderful feline journey with us. And I think since we're here together on this, on this percussive burp journey, I think you better know what to do. You better.
Welcome to the worst segment of the podcast.
Hey. Yep. And we did get the feedback that you need to speak up, so.
Just turn your volume up.
Okay, that works too.
Soft-spoken individual.
he's a gentle giant.
Speaks softly but carries a big stick.
That's right.
Literally.
A
couple of them.
I don't have anything prepared.
Okay.
But I will say, to NU Madisonians, I had a very wonderful experience before I came here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you're ever gonna go to a Michael's Custards, go to the one by Vitens, because I went there just to get a little ice cream, and when I pulled up to the window, they're like, "Would you like some chicken tenders?" Because we made a whole bunch of extra chicken tenders. I was like, "You're goddamn right, I want some chicken tenders."
That's the best.
And they gave me 8 chicken tenders.
8?
Wow.
8.
For free.
It's been really high. They just threw a whole batch of chicken, like the whole bag. It was like 25-pound bag of chicken tenders.
Man.
They dumped it in. Hey, really funny
Phil, what do you think will happen if we dump the whole bag in at once, man?
It reminds me of the time when you and I went there, and they could not get their shit together. It was like it made the Pizza D operation look like really competent.
I know.
Remember?
I know.
It was just a couple.
They kept messing everything up.
High school girls.
You're the one with the cookie dough, right? No, what the? Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a very pleasant surprise. So maybe they do that on a regular basis. So if you're going to go to Michael's Custards, go to the one by Vitens.
Just try to find ones with employees that fuck up all the time so you get free food.
My big question is, why didn't they eat them themselves? If I fucked up and I had these extra chicken tenders, I'd be like, I'm going to just take these home.
That's why they did 25-pound bag. They already went through a bunch of
Yeah. Whoops! I guess we're just going to have to give all these away now.
Whoa, man.
That or they wonder why chicken tenders come in 25-pound bags.
Whoa.
That or that 25-pound bag, they just found it in the freezer because it expired 4 years ago.
That too.
Oh. Brian, shut up.
Cool.
That's not far from here either.
No, it's very, very close. Yeah, so, geez, what else? One thing that so in 6 days, the album is done and off to Doug, and that is going to be the end of the month, which is Wednesday the 28th, and in celebration, I am getting a Wednesday the 28th tattoo done on my back to celebrate the fact that I don't have to look at another goddamn drum beat for at least
3 days.
3 months, we're going to say. I'm just going to have to look at another goddamn drum beat for at least...
drummers. Who needs it?
Yep.
We do.
Yeah, I guess we do. Yeah.
I need them too.
But so the guys were wondering what I was getting, and for the longest time I had this tattoo idea, and I'll put up the graphic here, and I don't have it on my phone like ready to go, but so when I was 15, for the first time I went to Japan, and the city that I grew up in, which is Superior, Wisconsin, we had a sister city program. We just started a sister city program when I was 14 with this city over in Ibaraki Prefecture called Amimachi. It's about 45-minute drive from Tokyo, and it's kind of like out in the sticks a little bit, but it's near a lake, and there's a lot of like similarities between Amimachi and Superior. And so the first year I hosted a student, and then the next year I went over on the first delegation ever, and it was like the coolest freaking thing, because since it was the first delegation ever, we had one of the high school teachers who spoke Japanese, who lived in Japan for a while, said we were supposed to go for a week, and he's like, hey, we could buy for the same amount of money, we could buy a train pass that lasts for 2 weeks. Why don't we go for 2 weeks, and I'll just take him around to Hiroshima, Kyoto, Tokyo. We'll just go and see all the major cities. And they're like, yeah, that's cool. And it was just a couple $100 extra in hotels and whatever. So we did that, and man, that was the coolest experience of that I think a 14, 15-year-old could have, just being, especially being from Superior, Wisconsin, way up north there, don't you know? I mean, we were white. We didn't even have an Indian restaurant. That's how white we were. I mean, I think there was one black person in the entirety of Superior. I think that was it. I've only,
to be fair, Monroe growing up was comparable.
Yeah. So living there for your entire life and then going to frickin' Japan was it was so amazing. It was so eye-opening. Not to mention the fact that the day that we got there, one of the kids we went with fell out of a 6-story window in our hotel. Which I've told this story before, and it's a great story. If you ever want to hear that story, corner me at a gig and make sure
or join the Patreon,
because maybe we'll tell it live on a Q&A session or something like that. But yeah, super fun. And I stayed with this host family for a week, and I didn't speak. I spoke a little bit of Japanese, what is this? Where is the bathroom? Thank you very much.
Sumimasen?
Yeah, something like that. And I just had such a fun time that the next time that the opportunity came up to in 2 years to go again, I went again, and I stayed with the same host family. And apparently, and to this day, I've been the only person to ever do that twice. And that blew their minds. And then I still, the second time, I still couldn't speak any Japanese. And they still couldn't speak. They spoke a little bit of English, but not much. But it was such a life-changing experience for me that when I went off to college, I'm like, you know what? I really want to learn Japanese, and I really want to go, at least be able to write them a letter and telling them how much I appreciated just the 2 weeks of their life, or the 2 individual 1 weeks of their lives that they gave, just showing me around their hometown and having fun. And it was in Japanese that I met my wife, and I met Aki, and we were in the same dorm, but we really got to know each other, and I met a large majority of the friends that are some of my best friends I met in Japanese class, just because we spent so much time together, and so the experience was so meaningful and powerful to me. And then 10 years after that, I go back to Amimachi. I haven't seen him in 10 years. The day before I propose. And then the next day I get to say, hey, because you guys took me in when I was 14, I developed an interest in the culture. I learned the language. I met my wife. Yesterday I proposed to her, and just because you gave up your house for a week, and they're super touched by this whole thing. And the city, and so my host mom there works for the city and works for the mayor's office, and the city has this kick-ass triangular old Japanese looking logo thing, and I was like, man, I want to get that tattooed on me somewhere in, but I always wanted to put something behind it, in some cool, something. I just didn't want to do just the logo. Mm-hmm. I wanted something else. And for the longest time, I just couldn't find. I couldn't think of anything. I couldn't find anybody. And then one of the people that actually tried out for a drummer position, he was showing me his tattoo, and it was pretty sweet work. And I said, "Where'd you get that done?" He said, "Oh, Gray Whale up near the Capitol." And he said this one guy only does Japanese tattoos and only does sleeves and decoration and line art and stuff like that. So I started talking to this guy, tell him the story. He's like, "Oh yeah, man, let's make it happen." He's gonna make it it's like a triangle. He's gonna make it kind of a rock in the ocean, and there's gonna be the waves jumping out from behind it.
Nice.
And I'm gonna have it right in the back. So.
And that's a super cool story. I did not know any of that story, so that's really awesome. Mm-hmm. And now he's hell bent on getting us to Japan to play.
Oh yeah, we're doing it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Come hell or high water or tsunamis, we're going to do it. or Germany, but eventually Japan. So
why not both
I've
eventually?
never been to
Yeah.
Europe,
Someday.
So I would
Porque no los dos
In Japanese.
That's another story. All right. Aki, you've
I don't
been.
know why. Oh, sorry.
No, go. Yeah.
I kept thinking, like, I don't know why, but in my head, I kept thinking what your story you're going to lead in, be like, and that is why I'm going to get a poor caricature of a Japanese person on my arm.
And that's why I'm getting Way of the Blade tattooed down my chest. Because while you guys were out getting jobs, I studied the blade.
Way of the Blade, like what I wrote?
No, well, yeah, I mean, okay, yeah. Also because I'm a big fan of that album. And I was studying it.
Is that a Lena Mortis album?
That's an Ottoman Empire album.
Oh.
Yep, all you OG Patreon backers have that album.
OG.
Oh, gee. So, Aki, you wanted to talk about some movies that you've been
We
watching.
should talk about movies that we've seen and whatnot.
We should.
Okay. Well, I guess, like, the two most recent ones were... I saw Cloverfield Paradox, so you know how, like, they did an advertisement for it at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I completely missed that.
I only saw it afterwards because, like... I was on Reddit and I was just like, oh yeah, Super Bowl, I don't watch that, but the commercials, there's always some amusing commercials.
Commercials are really good this
Superb
year.
Owl.
Yep.
Speaking
of owls.
The name of the teams, wasn't it like the Eagles and some other teams? And the Patriots.
Yeah, the Eagles and the not
And the
Eagles.
Patriots always win, right? But they didn't win this time.
They did not.
That is correct.
So everyone, okay, anyway.
That makes everyone happy.
Yes.
Handed to them. Not handed to them.
So I saw Cloverfield Paradox, and it was
You're a
definitely
Shoot.
the weakest of the three Cloverfield films.
It looks like something made by the Swiss colony. They make shit that looks like that.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
So weakest of
the three Cloverfield films. Like, I actually was a fan of the original Cloverfield film, and I don't know if you've seen 10 Cloverfield Lane, but it's really good, actually.
I like it a lot.
It's really solid, but...
Isn't John Goodman in that?
Yeah, and he's phenomenal. I'd say he's actually the best part of the film, but both that one and Cloverfield Paradox were actually not really originally Cloverfield films. They kind of like... They later took, like, the script and then they added things to make it related to Cloverfield. And this recent one, like... It was entertaining, and it's really hard because I have a soft spot for, like, I love horror and I like sci-fi horror, and this was kind of like a space isolation kind of horror, and yeah, it kind of had almost elements of, like, Sunshine and Event Horizon, and I feel like they should have just gone for all-out horror and not even made it a Cloverfield film, because it was pretty entertaining in that respect, but they didn't, I feel like they didn't know whether to make it a sci-fi film, a horror film, or this Cloverfield thing. So I thought that was kind of, I don't know, I feel like it was kind of a C movie, or 6.5 maybe out of 10, but much better than that is I finally saw Inglourious Bastards.
Oh my
after
god.
9 years.
all right.
Really?
Well, I'm not a huge Tarantino guy. Like, I really like Pulp Fiction and Jackie Brown. I feel like Kill Bill's pretty overrated in my opinion.
Have you seen Django?
I have not. That is on my... That and Hateful Eight are on my
Django's
list
good.
of ones I want to see.
Both of those are great movies.
Mm-hmm.
Reservoir Dogs, I forgot about too, is also outstanding. But yeah, I saw Inglourious Bastards, and I feel like it came close to being, like, a really good A film, in my opinion. It had, like, a couple scenes that were just phenomenal. Like the intro one between... I'm going to forget his name. Christopher Waltz, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who I felt stole the show.
He is chillingly
He always
evil
plays
in
that
movie.
character so
He was
well. He plays it in
phenomenal.
multiple movies.
Yeah. And he
Similar
wasn't... he was relatively, unknown in the United States.
That's I feel like that's kind of the movie that put him on the map here.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think, like... So apparently I learned that Tarantino originally was thinking of having Leonardo DiCaprio be... I can't remember the name of the character, but to play that Nazi SS character. And I'm so glad they did Christopher Waltz, because I feel like it's unfair that actors get typecast, and Leonardo DiCaprio is a very versatile actor. But that said, I feel like he's so well known that it would have been like, oh, like already people are like, oh, it's Leonardo DiCaprio in the, playing Revenant type character, or playing the Wolf of Wall Street type character. He's playing this kind of character, but with Christopher Waltz, like, I don't think people had any expectations going into it. Instead, they get blown away by this character.
Right.
Just, is so sinister even when he smiles and whatnot. And that first scene with the French farmer, there's actually not a ton of speaking, but there's so much body language and little subtleties, and you can tell that moment when a French farmer is broken, he knows that he's found out and everything, and that, along with the bar scene, was so well done. Yes. Yeah. And well, here's the interesting thing is I love reading up on films. Like, I watch a film, then I always read the summary in Wikipedia, and I go to Reddit and I look for a discussion on it. And there's a great discussion that someone made a point that SS officer actually knew even beforehand that they were imposters, and that before
he did this.
Yeah, and with this, his face turned serious just because at that point he's like, wow, they got sloppy in that point. But there's always little things beforehand that he like pokes fun at Stiglitz, that German officer that killed like 11 others and went rogue and joined Inglourious Bastards, and how he nudges into him multiple times, and there's always little tells that he kind of knows already. But I thought that was a really great scene, and of course it had the actor who played Magneto, and also Fassbender. And Michael Fassbender was also outstanding, and although I wasn't a fan of the film, he played the android in Prometheus, probably the best part of that film.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed Inglourious Bastards, but I feel like it fell short of being an A-grade movie. I feel like, I don't know, it fell a little short of that in some areas. Like, for example, the classic, I feel like it's almost a trope now at this point, like, oh, well, if Hitler had died and whatnot, like, oh, the Nazi regime would have just fell apart. It's like this oversimplification that people like to imagine, where it's like, oh, a couple people, they run everything. It's like, oh, with Japan, if they just killed Tojo, it never would have,
right.
It's like,
well, yeah,
they're putting so much weight on one person.
Yeah, it doesn't really work.
And that's one of the criticisms I read of that movie, is that at any point the Nazis could have been toppled by a Wile E. Coyote style placing of the dynamite, and whoops, there it goes, and boom, okay, they're gone, bye.
Obviously there'll be a big impact, but just like, I think a lot of people try to, kind of like people like to blame the economy on a single person, on the president or whatnot, even if they have a role. It's not like they can control it.
Right.
It's like people like to be able to place the blame on one easy person or institution or whatnot, and it's not so easy as that you just like eliminate one person and everything crumbles.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I haven't really seen any movies. I'm trying to think if I've seen anything. I'm sure I have. I just can't remember what it is. I do have a couple movies on deck. The new Blade Runner I've got. I cannot wait to watch that. 6 more days, and then I'm gonna watch all these movies. Coco, actually, the Pixar film. Yeah. Heidi and I have been wanting to watch that. We finished Kill la Kill, which is a ridiculous anime. I think I might have talked about it before. I would recommend going out and watching Kill la Kill.
I'm not a big anime guy, and I enjoyed Kill la Kill.
That one was it's stupid enough to where you go, no, and then you kind of get into it and you're like, okay, all right. I don't want to give away too much.
Well, last November when we went to Daishokan, my wife, his wife, and our friend Paula did 3 characters from Kill la Kill.
Yeah, they all cosplay.
Yeah.
And I watched Castlevania on Netflix. I finally got through that.
Also,
big thumbs up on that. That was
really
fucking
good.
Awesome.
Really, really
Loved
good.
it.
Hey, speaking of Castlevania, if you are on the Patreon or you're on the Facebook, you saw we're coming out with a Castlevania themed T-shirt for the patrons.
Oh yeah.
Which I love how that design turned out. I'm super happy with it. I had way too much fun making that design. Way too much fun.
Yeah.
So, and it's gonna be, if you're on the Patreon, you get to choose between purple and gray. So Game Boy Gray or Royalty Purple, Royal Blood Purple. Dracula Blood Purple.
Alucard Purple.
Alucard Purple. Yep. Yeah. Have you guys seen anything?
Since
go ahead.
It's been a little while, but I think since the last podcast, that's probably between now and then when I saw it. But The Greatest Showman.
Yeah, I've heard mixed stuff on that.
I fucking loved it.
Really?
Oh yeah, the music is super catchy. I don't know, it's super cheesy and everything, but I think it's well done and it's a good story. And I've been obsessed with the album for some reason. Like, I just can't stop listening to it.
Yeah.
It's just like infectious and it's well done. And I like seeing these films where the actors are actually singing their parts. Like, they're not like, amazingly trained singers, but it's good to see that they can actually, do multiple things and actually sing their parts and everything.
Yeah.
I think there's one character that has a sit-in or somebody singing her songs other than her. So, I really enjoyed it.
Cool.
But I think that's a big one.
We've been chipping away at Netflix series. Otherwise, we just got to the end of The Crown, which we really enjoyed. Mainly because Andrea and I are both Doctor Who people at heart. And so seeing Matt Smith, former Doctor, in another role, this time being Philip, very enjoyable. I'm working on The Punisher.
Ooh,
so I'm still 3 episodes away from finishing that.
I was really disappointed with The Punisher.
I've enjoyed it thus far.
Have you?
But I haven't finished it.
The Defenders.
We just finished The Defenders.
I'm still in the middle of Defenders.
Is it good? I watched the first episode. And
I love the Daredevil character.
Yeah, Daredevil.
Daredevil's by far
Daredevil's
the best Marvel
awesome.
series.
Cage and Jessica Jones are all right.
Yeah.
And the Iron Fist is annoying.
Oh my god! Right?
Have you seen all their separate series?
I've seen all of Jessica Jones. I've seen all of the Daredevil. I've seen all of Iron Fist. I got halfway through Luke Cage, and I got to get back to that.
Yeah. I really Daredevil. Yeah, I'd agree with you. By far the best. I haven't seen Jessica Jones.
It's decent. It's very gritty and very drunken and just nasty.
Cool. I did like Luke Cage. I liked Luke Cage a lot. Iron Fist was really it
was extremely inconsistent.
Yeah.
I feel like they're all kind of inconsistent. I mean, I think Daredevil was the best.
Yeah.
But even in the first season, where there are a lot of great episodes, pacing was all over the place. I thought the first episode was very good, and the second one was really meh, not good pacing, but had an amazing long drawn fight scene. It's just I feel like the writing for all these shows, including Punisher, is just really inconsistent.
Yeah.
And Punisher in particular, I'm curious, Brian, what you'll think of it when you get to the end, but I feel like the pacing is not good. I really agree with the New York Times when it almost feels like a pulpy crime procedural, but it doesn't have the good writing that you find in something like The Wire or whatnot.
Yeah, well, Marvel's been pumping out so much shit. Beyond the movies and all the series, I think this might get slow down a little bit.
I completely agree. Yeah.
I think John Bernthal, is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
I think he does a good job with the character.
He's definitely one of the strong points.
Otherwise, I think of the other Defenders, I think Daredevil has the edge just because Matt Murdock is such a more compelling character and prospect than any of the other ones, just by default.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep up with him because he's just such a likable and interesting character.
Right.
Whereas, not that the other ones aren't, but he's just more so.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we don't have much else. We're gonna finish up this goddamn album that I can breathe at some point. So anyway, the next time you see us, the album will be done.
Of other shit to complain about.
Yep, and I'll just be like, "Hey, everybody, everything's great. Lords of the Trident's going in a new direction. We're just gonna be chill jazz from now on because everything's fantastic."
Lords of the Trident featuring Yanni.
Yep.
Playing a 3-piece from here on out.
Yep. Aki, you've got the last word.
Me?
You. What's the last word, Aki? What is it? Just what's the word?
Baba Booey.
Good night.